Hello again everyone, welcome back. We're going to take a look at two single stack 9mm pistols today. We've got a Glock 43 and a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield in 9mm. On one hand, a very highly anticipated single stack. On the other hand, a very nice, reliable single stack from a great lineup of M&P pistols. I gotta say, both of these are really great. They're both very nice pistols. They both shoot very well, and they both have the what's the word? They both fill the niche to which they were made, which is concealed carry. So let's get that out of the way. Let's talk about a few fine points. First of all, magazines. M&P standard comes with two. You have a 7-rounder and an 8-rounder. Okay? 8-rounder is a nice big extension there. So you're looking at a definite full hand grip. The flush mag, or the 7-rounder. You can pretty much get your entire hand on there if you have a smaller hand. Larger hand obviously not. But you know, the pinky can still sort of maneuver there on there if that is something that you need or prefer. But it is what it is. There that is, for whatever scientific means at which that gives to you. Now the Glock comes with two magazines, both 6-round. This one has a Pierce extension grip, the other one is flush. With the extension, you have a nice full grip, full hand grip there. With the flush magazine, you are pretty much relegated to a 2-finger grip. That pinky has no real room to maneuver on that grip. So something to consider. It's a little bit smaller grip. Go ahead and put the flush mag in here. I'm just going to kind of line them up as best as I can. This is the real trick, isn't it? Lining them up. And you can kind of see there that the M&P grip is just a wee bit longer, just a wee bit, not very much longer, okay, but it is a little bit longer. Something to consider. Grip texturing. This has the Gen 4 grip texturing, which is, you know, little dots or whatever. Has a little bit of texturing here on the front and a little bit of texturing on the back hump. I have to say I was very pleasantly surprised by the grip angling of the Glock. It feels extremely nice in the hand. A lot of the full frame Glocks, like I say, a 17, not very comfortable for me because of the Glock hump. But this grip is very nice. Again, we talked about that in the video, I believe. So now on the M&P, the grip, the ergonomics, are very nice as well. It's a nice grip. It really is. Now this one has some Talon grips on it. It does have a little bit of texturing naturally, but you know, it is one of those deals where it's not very aggressive texturing. This isn't really aggressive either, but it's okay. I found on Gen 4 Glocks, I wouldn't put Glock tape on them, or grip tape, Glock tape, grip tape, although I would always put grip tape on my Gen 3s. On my M&Ps, I kind of like a little bit of that rubberized grip tape. It's kind of nice on these. But if it didn't have it on it, I wouldn't care. It's a really nice, great feeling grip there. Now, again, my scientific sort of attempt to put these guns together, the M&P grip is just a little bit wider. I don't know if that's really being translated here into the video, but it is a little bit wider. Take that for what it is. It's just sort of a fact. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about triggers. The M&P trigger is nice and crisp, relatively light. I think that if they put the Shield trigger in all their M&P line, people might be a lot happier. And I've actually heard that being stated by a few people. So we have a nice, pleasant trigger pull, and then There's the reset. Okay, so it's a decent reset. You know, I don't have any problem with the reset. I don't think it's long. It's decent. It's pretty decent. The Glock trigger is nice and crisp, as most Glocks are. I like Glock triggers. I don't apologize for that. However, these definitely have the Gen 4 feel. These are said to be 5.5 pounds out of the box. It feels a little bit heavier than 5.5 pounds. It's a little bit more of a deliberate trigger. I would say the M&P is slightly lighter of a trigger pull than the 43. But it's still a nice, crisp, clean trigger. You would have no trouble racking rounds. Now the reset, very quick. Glock always puts a very nice short reset on all their guns. Let's talk sights. Okay, both have different sight pictures. The Glock has their very standard U-shaped back sight and you know, your white dot front post. The front post is not adjustable, but it is replaceable. The back sight is adjustable. A lot of people don't really like these sights, the standard sights. I personally do. The M&P has a little bit nicer sights. The front and the back are both adjustable. You have the Novak style rear sight there. 3-dot and maybe a little bit more visible. I would probably say if I had to choose a sight, I kind of like the M&P sights better than the Glock sights, and I'll give you one other reason. I mentioned this in the Glock in the 43 video. When you are shooting and lining up these sights, the front sight post feels a little bit short. When you line up the front sight post and the rear sights, that front white dot is about half visible. Okay? Why does that matter? To some it might not, but it is a little bit different. When I line up the sights on the M&P, I can clearly see the white dot. I am lining up all 3 white dots. Whereas on the Glock, the front white dot becomes a bit of an afterthought, and I'm lining up the top of the sight posts a little bit more. So that's just something that you might think about. Doesn't matter. I'm accurate. I'm actually more accurate with the 43 than the M&P. So, you know, I'm not going to make a big deal out of that. It's just something I observed. What else? The M&P does have a safety. It has a manual thumb safety here. The Glock does not. We all know that the Glock does not have a manual safety. They have their safe triggers, so much as they like to call them. The M&P also does have some safety built into the trigger where you have to engage fully the trigger in order to make it run. You can't just press the top, but if you engage the full trigger, it will fire. And you know, likewise on the Glock, you have to, you know, there's this little part here, this little piece. You have to engage that little piece. You have to press fully down in order to get this trigger to go. If you're just pressing on the sides or the top, it won't go. You have to press it all in congruity together to make it go. Takedown, Glock's takedowns are pretty easy. You have your sliders there, and you just, you know, press those down, pull back the slide a little bit, and then bring it forward. Don't necessarily even need to engage the trigger. Whereas on the M&P, you would want to bring the slide back, lock it, and then pull down the takedown lever, release the slide, pull the trigger, and away you go. The internals are largely the same, so I'm not really going to get into that all that much today. But again, putting the M&P back requires, again, locking the slide, turning the takedown lever, and there you're back into the game. Quickness of it, but I mean, it's a little bit quicker to assemble a Glock than the M&P, but really they're both very quick. There's not a lot of difference. It's just another way to do it. But realistically, both pistols work very well. You know, on the one hand, you have a little bit more carry capacity, a little bit more rounds, and a little bit nicer sights. A little bit more compact, a little bit slimmer design. I think a slightly crisper trigger, maybe a little bit heavier than the M&P, a little faster takedown, but both pistols really perform quite well, I think. If I had to choose between the two, I would pick the Glock. I've developed a little bit of an odd pull with an M&P. I tend to shoot a little bit, down and to the right with the M&Ps, and it doesn't matter which M&P it is. I've shot a few. The Glocks I'm always right on with, and I think it's just something with my mechanics with this trigger moving forward. So again, that might be something that you look at. I shoot quite a bit, or at least as much as I can, and that bothers me that I can't put this one right on bullseye every single time. Whereas in the same conditions, I can take this and just hit wherever I pretty much want. And I think that honestly, you just need to get them out and shoot them and figure out which one you shoot better with. But again, you're getting a little bit slimmer package in the 43, a little bit more capacity in the M&P. They're both great pistols. They're both made extremely well. They're both made by companies that I highly revere and I highly recommend. So either way you go, you're getting a great carry pistol and usually at a great price. Also, the M&P is generally a little cheaper than the Glock. Something to consider. If you're looking for something around the $400 or sometimes under $400 mark, the M&P is the place to be. If you're looking for something for a little bit more, $450 to $500, the Glock 43 is what I would choose. But either way you go, you are going to get a fantastic pistol, no doubt about it. So that was that. I just wanted to bring them both out here and talk about both of them in congruity, because honestly, I view the two of these as really, the top in-breed single stack 9mm semi-autos of the day. But anyway, I'd like to thank you all for stopping down, watching another one of the videos. I appreciate all the comments and the likes and the subscriptions, so just keep that up. I appreciate all that. Trying to get bigger, you know what I mean? Down in the description, you'll also see our Patreon page link. If you feel like, giving a little donation to the channel, please go ahead. That just goes back into what I do, into my sick hobby, my expensive hobby. But all that counts. It's not required, but I do appreciate it if you do. And yeah, y'all just have a great rest of your day, and thanks for stopping by. See y'all later.